Well, hello everybody, and welcome to the latest edition of the G Vegas Gridiron podcast. Our usual host John is away on a work trip, probably closing a bunch of sales right now, so he's not able to be here. So we're filling in. We've got Chris as normal, and Ricky, who is technically guest hosting, but has guest hosted for the last 3 weeks, potentially even four. So we might as well just make him a full host at this point. We'll work out the contracts on that one later. We'll have Jerry Jones negotiate that one for us. And then our guest this week is a very special guest, one of my closest friends from my time at Liberty, our defending league runner-up. Probably should have won, but our league runner-up. And just an overall great guy who's full of belief. DJ, welcome to the podcast.
How's it going? Thanks for having me. About time.
Well, as you know, we had to get through Corbin and a few other people who paid a little bit higher bids to be on the podcast ahead of you. So
That's fair. Yeah.
money always talks. How does it feel to finally be on?
Oh, it feels great. I was just waiting, especially I thought if I got active in chat, egg on Chris a little bit, I'd get the invite quicker. And, he needed to be wrong one more week. That's all it was.
I was vetoing the invitation every single time, and it got slipped through my fingers. So here you are.
Here we are.
Well, to get things started, very eventful week. Really, really off middle of the week. Not even the matchups, with some trading collusion. Like we mentioned, kind of the first time this has truly happened. Like actual has passed trades. So DJ, what are your thoughts? What are your takes? Is the Gridiron Illuminati coming down too hard? Is it too soft? What are you thinking?
So, I was much like everybody else in the league. I was just doing my normal work day, and then just saw a bunch of activity. Figured I'd stop what I was doing and check it out. Absolutely shocked to see what happened and transpired. I know that they were joking about it, and Chuck was teasing about it, kind of saying like, "Hey, I need a QB. I need to swap out here because we all hate injuries. It happens." He could have probably made it less screaming obvious. He was bailing you out, but it's also so believable that Rory kind of was just a puppy caught in traffic and just got mowed down by the rules there. But yeah, no, I mean, I think, I know some people thought it was a little harsh, but I think it's plain as day, and the rules we all have access to. So, if you have any questions about it, you can easily go read about it. So yeah, it's one of the things on there. It can definitely lead down a dark, bumpy road. So nip it in the bud. So I'm game. As long as it doesn't get Chuck to leave early like hockey, but it's whatever.
So
good thing we paid you for that glowing review of our decision.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. The extra $10 of free agent budget will hit your accounts at some point tonight.
There's nothing in the Constitution against that. Just want to point it out.
No,
Wide open.
no, not at all. So DJ, you mentioned a hockey league that Chuck left early. Did he leave a hockey league early?
Oh, I don't know. He stopped running his. I had to pick it up. I mean,
are you the commish now?
Yeah, Ricky's in it. Yeah, so he just stopped doing it. I don't know. Things wasn't going his way. Broad Street Bullies just started sucking eggs, I guess. He just stopped. So
who's winning the hockey league now?
Well, actually, right now I am much like this one, the lowest scoring team. So week one, not great, but have some hot ads that I'm looking to get going. So we'll see. We'll pick it up. But
I've been in a similar boat to you, DJ, in the hockey league where I have the lowest points against. So I feel you. It's a little embarrassing.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. Chris kind of smoked me week one, but it's whatever.
So DJ, we've identified that you're struggling when it comes to points in hockey, and football as well. However, your record is 4-2.
Yeah.
And I do want to keep the focus on the only league that matters. As exciting as hockey is, and I do love that you picked up the hockey league. Didn't know it was hockey season, so really glad to hear that it's hockey season spelled SZN.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about your team so far?
Kind of like, I'll wear a face the whole time for the crowd, for the people, big city belief. So I got to have faith in my guys. Don't let them show that I'm scared all the time, constantly. Just praying that, Delaney will think of something or Van will distract me in some way so I don't just live in constant shaking fear on the couch. But but no, it's been good. Kind of treat it how it comes. Super stoked that I have the record that I do have, even though I play dumb. I'm very aware that I don't deserve it. but just I keep finding people on their bad week. I'll keep that, I'll take it as long as they keep giving it to me. So, everybody else, if you play me, just I don't know, play better.
Yeah. Do you feel like you made mistakes on draft night? What do you think is the root of your team's struggles to score points?
So I'd say like two things. First thing, I think it's been said before. I think we're kind of like in a stage of transition. Like household names, they're kind of getting older. They're phasing out. So if you don't get the newer guys, then you're kind of just gonna think you have a great team, but you probably did in 2015. And then I never really took young guys anyway. I never took rookies. I always took vets and people I knew I could trust. So actually, this year I tried to take more rookies and take more chances, and it was kind of a mix of like some of them weren't working out, and then I kind of did get a little nervous, or if I felt that clock coming, I would just pick a name that I thought was safe, and then I probably overbid on looking at you, Scary Terry, but it's whatever. Just
Hey,
rolling
he'll
with what we
come
got. I
through.
think I've
He'll
got
come
some
through.
good ad wires and stuff. Bijan always helps.
Yeah, that was quite the game on Monday night. Chris, did you
Oh
watch
yeah.
that with your Buffalo family?
So kind of. I actually watched it alone because I was watching the Commanders game, and I had to watch my nephew so that all the Bills fans could be together. So I watched it. Much more heartbroken about the Commanders game than the Bills game. But yeah, Bijan. I mean, again, I obviously give you a lot of crap, DJ. I actually don't think your team is that bad. You just truly, it's just like week over week, just put up a low amount of points, and I don't know. Like when your team hits, it's going to be great. I mean, you truly do
Oh
have
yeah.
a lot of talent. It's just yeah, it's been rough. I mean, you've had some injuries. Like Terry's been out, um, but Patty's well under projections every week it seems. But I think you'll have. I don't think you're in danger of a toilet bowl. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, no, like I feel confident, but I feel like I'm standing on some firm ground, but it's like some nice clay and there's a rainstorm coming. So we'll see what happens. I'm just one more guy getting hurt away from being doomed. So that's
I
bad.
love I love how many analogies DJ has for like every situation. Like I'm standing on firm ground, but it's clay and there's actually rain coming. I love it. And here's the thing with your team, DJ. I mean, you've got Patty Mahomes, who has overall maybe not quite panned out the way that you'd hope, but the last 2 weeks has been electric.
Yeah.
Bijan was great last week. Patty Mahomes and Bijan combined for 80 points, which I think is close to half of your team total. So
Yeah.
if the rest of your team gets the message and gets in game shape, I mean that's pretty scary that you could have potentially 80 points guaranteed most
Yeah.
weeks.
Yeah. Just kind of like last year, I like to think that like my teams are always like meh, but they're always ready to like turn a corner, and then you can just be scary if stuff goes my way. I just need to keep coming my way. So that was a part of picking, Mahomes is like I knew he had some guys out and that were hurt immediately, and Kelsey's kind of declining, but he's always going to figure it out. Mahomes is Mahomes, as much as I hate that he's in the Broncos division in real life, but I know he's always going to figure it out and scramble, and the league loves him, so eventually I'll love him. So
DJ, we talked a little bit about your team performance. The 1 week you scored over 180 points was against me. Do you have so much belief in your team that you don't foresee making any trades or shaking things up anymore, or maybe berating your team as we see Brad do every week about 1:20 in the afternoon? So much belief there that maybe you don't even have plans to do trades or make any major moves on the waiver wire.
yeah, no. So I'm always open to it. I think every year almost, besides like one or two, I've always done at least one trade that's usually affected me for the better. So I like to think I kind of help myself by making a trade happen. And I've been talking to some people. I've been trying to get something figured out. As I said, I'm always going to believe in my guys. I'm always going to hope for the best. But if I can have that much more guarantee, I'm going to be all right. I'm going to do that. So, but just trying to figure out where I can. But at the end of the day, I'm just going to see what happens, and I know that I'm not going to give away the little good pieces I do have just to say a trade happened. Just going to take it how it is.
Speaking of trades, DJ, can you walk us through either the worst offer you've gotten or the toughest person that is in the league that you've tried to negotiate with so far?
Sure. So I'll kind of do like a little bit of both. My favorite thing ever is like, besides one or two times, probably more than that because I'm trying to save myself here. I've started off conversations super lopsided, but then I've tried to kind of be like, all right, let's get real here. And then here's what I think could happen. And then I've just been met back with their reply like, it's more fair and I get where you're coming from, but I want everything you have and I want to give you dirt. That's always fun. I love when that happens. But as far as like, I know he kind of gave me props last week, but as far as frustrating to trade with, I'd have to say Brad. It has been driving me up a wall because I know it's a bit now, but like I'm talking to him about these running backs. I'm like, hey, I just need some more back help. Just help me out, man. And then he's like, yeah, well, I'm just going to keep my guys. They're my main commodity. I'm not giving you anything. And then as soon as it's like 105 on a Sunday, all of his running backs are on the block. I'm like, come on, man. Like I know it's a bit, but you're waving, you're dangling the carrot, man. Like I'm trying to work with you here. So I think I'm just, I caught up to it now. I take it with a grain of salt.
So has that closed you off to future negotiations with Brad?
I mean, I'm always going to take it. Just boy who cried wolf over there. When's he going to mean the business? So I don't know, but we'll see. I mean, I'm talking to other people right now. We'll see what happens.
Maybe a little sneak peek, DJ?
Maybe, who knows? I'm sure not going to cheat like some other people. So we'll see.
If you had to give a season expectation based on where you are right now, where record wise, if you end up, would you be happy?
Well, since anything is possible, and I probably have the biggest belief out of anybody in this league, I'd say like I'd be happy being back in the championship and actually doing the thing. But like realistically, I know like I'm only like a few wins away from making sure I'm not in the toilet bowl, which that's always the minimum. I probably could, but I definitely don't want to eat that many hot dogs. So yeah, just anything to keep it going, keep the league exciting, the weekends and matchups exciting. Um, I always feel like I'm one or two good games away from having that same streak like last year. So Mahomes and Bijan, they can just drag me all the way there if they want to. So just need
Yeah,
some supporting cast roles.
yeah.
DJ, I'm just taking a look at your matchup next week. Just because I want to hear your opinion on it. We'll get into the other ones later, but you're up against Kurth this week. He's getting a lot of guys back. Looks like
Yeah.
he's projected a little over 200 points. Are you one that puts a lot of stock into projections at all leading up to the matchup? Obviously, day of it's 0-0 on the board, but how much do you actually pay attention to projections, and how does that kind of change your mood going into the week?
Yeah, so projections can be kind of scary. Like I'll convince myself one way or the other and I look at the projections, I'm like, all right, I need to shut my phone off. I'm just gonna be sad. But like you said, any given Sunday, it's not gonna be the end result. It usually hasn't been. Otherwise I'd be, all losses right now. So projection doesn't mean a thing to a team like me. Otherwise I, wouldn't have the record I do. So yeah, just ready for a fight every time. And then John's kind of he does worry me a little bit. Historically, I don't think I've beaten him. Hopefully, we can prove that wrong this time and see what happens this week and pull some magic off again. He's getting all his guys back. I mean, we'll see. Like if he does another blunder with the, should I start Purdy? Should I not? And then starting the wrong guy. Hopefully, but we'll see what happens. Sometimes, he can be his own enemy, but we'll see. Hopefully, I don't
Well,
get Hunter pieced.
it doesn't help when he ends up playing Cooper Rush, who finishes with -4 points.
Yeah,
I'm very
yeah.
grateful for that from this past week, let me tell you.
Yeah, don't doubt it. I'm not with Zay Flowers, but good for you, man.
Yeah. DJ, I got to ask you about Trey Benson. All right, so Trey
Yeah.
Benson was a guy that a solid handcuff to an injury-prone James Conner. Conner goes down. Benson's the guy. I remember seeing it in the chat, how excited you were when Benson was the guy, and that lasted for about 30 seconds.
Yeah.
How hard was that to swallow?
So I don't freak out much. I usually contain it very well, but that was the one time that everybody was doing their own thing. I think Van was playing with his wrestling guys. Delaney was just on her phone hanging out. I think I literally stood up and was like, "What?" because I was so stoked. I have the premier Cardinals running back right now. And then he played the whole game fine. And then Schefter comes out and says, "Oh, no need to be worried. He just, maybe it's just a little bruise. He'll be fine." IR for 4 to 6 weeks, maybe more. Like, Schefter, do your freaking job, man. Come on. And since then, it's just been like trying to tread water, fight back. The DJ's going to swallow a bunch of dog talks again. And then, yeah, I just put a bunch of stock in Zonovan Knight, of all people. And so far, it's kind of worked out. He's supposedly the number one back right now until he comes back. So we'll see what happens. But I'll welcome him back with open arms for sure.
One last question for you, DJ, before we move on. There seems to be a historical pattern now of Noel believing that your teams, season after season, are amongst the worst in the league. Can you give us some background into why this is?
Yeah, I'd say, known Noel for like most of my life, basically. So I don't know what it is. You probably same thing you could say with Liberty. I'm just a goofball, easy to laugh at. So maybe like if I'm going to point a gun and say something at somebody, it's going to be DJ. So maybe that's a part of it. But even from before we were both in your league and I had my own because I used to run mine on ESPN, it would always be not like intense whenever I play Noel because we usually end up kind of the same until recently. We've been picking it up in your league here, but it's always interesting whenever I get to play him. So it's been fun, and he gives me a little. I try to give back, and then usually I don't have this record to talk about it, but I mean it's been fun. I'm fine with it every time. Every time he's usually wrong. Besides, the first like 1 or 2 years, but especially last year, everybody was wrong, even me. So.
Well, I was going to say you have made it to more championship games than he has in this league. So
Very true.
There's that.
Yep, made it on this podcast before him too, buddy.
Boom.
So there's that.
But you were not asked before him. I don't
That's
think.
fair, I guess. Way to drop that one, Chris. Yeah.
My bad. Yeah, so moving on, looking at this past week's matchups, Ricky, I'll let you go first. Any matchups that shocked you or were really keeping your attention all weekend?
I mean, obviously the closest one was our own Libby McLovin and Iceman. A lot of blowouts this weekend, but I'll go ahead and talk about theirs just to start off this segment because, I mean, Monday night up until the last 4 minutes of the last game, it was pretty tight. Kind of looked like John was going to pull it out, and then Iceman had a couple of guys that popped off at the end, got a couple of touchdowns, ended up pulling out the win. But yeah, other than that, not much to say there. I mean, it came down to offensive players that came out to play for Iceman, and not enough guys came out for John this week. So
yeah, that was an exciting one. James Kamish, which matchups were you following?
Man, let me tell you, the Chuck and Brad matchup was a really interesting one. Obviously, DJ's talked about it. Brad's whole team was on a fire sale around 1:15 in the afternoon on Sunday. And I believe at the time he might have had a 49% chance of victory per sleepers projections. All right. They had fallen behind just a tad, and Brad just went berserk on his team and rallied them to an unbelievable 212 points. I mean, I've never seen somebody so upset and angry at their team while scoring over 200 points. A feat that I have not done this whole season and would kill for. I would feel so good if I got to 200 points. Haven't come close. So Brad wins this one 212 to 113. Okay. After the removal of the collusion points that had been in the score line, because CJ Stroud actually played pretty well. but almost 100 club there for Brad. Very impressive. I think Brad is one of the best teams in this league. I think that the tradition of him whining and moaning each week is becoming the worst tradition in this league outside of collusion. But he's got a rock solid team, and that's with J.K. Dobbins getting 5, Jalen Warren only getting 9, but the rest of his team just went off. He's got good flex positions. His kicker's getting 18. He's got good defense. Brad is someone to watch out for sure.
Yeah, he is. All right, DJ, any matchups that spoke to you?
Yeah, so one that always kind of upsets me to see him do well is Corn Cob over there beating Elliott 198 to 148. It's just insane where every time no one knows what he's doing on draft night, and then it ends up working out frustratingly over people that actually try. Like, well, I mean, not that he doesn't try, but actually like fills the whole team, and they're competent, they try to do well, and then they just end up doing so much worse. So many things have gone his way this year, and it just doesn't make any sense. Like, like Tracy going down, and then Scatabo just being the pit bull that he is, I guess, just going crazy every time. I think he's only had one bad game since he's been the starter. 33 is insane. His only real like downfall was kind of like Debo hasn't really been consistent, and then Tootin is just Tootin, but Horton kind of blanked him. But other than that, it's just his rookies that are his own downfall. But usually they're working out for him. It's just every time something goes his way, and then even Elliott with Josh Allen, he can't save him all the time. So what he drafted him for, first quarterback off the board. It's just insane to watch how every week it's just somebody else goes off for him all the time.
It's funny to hear DJ say something like everything's going well for someone as he sits at 4-2 with.
Yeah.
Just dogging on you, DJ.
Grass is always greener,
Yeah.
I will tell you, DJ, I think the epitome of what you're talking about with Corbin, everything going his way. Corbin at some point was bemoaning that he had added a defensive lineman and dropped Dylan Gabriel because the defensive lineman wasn't doing anything. The defensive lineman outscored Dylan Gabriel in the day. How is it that a defensive line player that you picked up because your roster, again, was not full, we are in week 6, you had a roster that was not full, you had empty spots, you just pick up whoever's available and hasn't played yet, and they outscore a starting quarterback in this league. That is wild to me that can happen.
And then he goes back and pays $3 to pick up Dylan Gabriel again. This is a beautiful merry-go-round he likes going on, dude.
It is entertaining. My matchup's going to be yours, James. You versus Kurth. I think what's crazy is, John was not on the bottom. John Egan, to clarify, Libby, not on the bottom until recently, but he is the last 1-5 team. So I'm sure he really appreciates that you got a win, and now he's lonely. But you really had, a solid performance from a lot of your guys. Bo Nix did all right. He had 20 points and outscored the opponent's quarterback by 24. So that's cool. Negative points there from Cooper Rush. Then, DeAndre Swift, ASN, really carrying the team. It's gotta feel good to get that second win, as I was struggling for that for a while. Again, hopefully there's some more hope in the Golden Reaper camp now.
Yeah, I mean, to start at 0-4 and really just dread every single Thursday night, every Sunday, every Lord's Day, which is horrible. But I mean, I would wake up on Sunday and just feel completely empty and miserable. And I'd go to church and feel all right. And then 1:00 would get here and I'd go back to being empty and miserable again. But to go from that to winning twice in a row with a legitimate shot at winning a third in a row against Tank for Arts this week. I'm not that we're favored or anything, but I think we got a shot. We'll get to that here in a little bit. But really happy with Swift coming out of the Bears bye week. I was really hoping that Ben Johnson would do better to unlock him versus running him up the middle every single time, and that's not the kind of back that he is. And super happy about that. Tolbert getting at 1 point. CeeDee Lamb should be coming back soon, so I don't have to rely on him anymore. And it wasn't our best week by any means, but it was enough. And it was enough to be a really strong opponent who has dealt with some injuries, and obviously, again, Cooper Rush, -4 in your starting QB. Really unfortunate. But I was beyond thrilled to see that, and Bill Krosky getting 17 carries for Washington. I feel like maybe this could be the start of a good run for my team. Maybe even emulating DJ from last year. Who knows?
Who knows?
Right. Awesome. Any other matchups from this past week we wanted to highlight?
I think Rory beating Noel. I mean, I think that is that's a stunner. Rory, 6 weeks into the season, Rory has a better record than Noel. Even, I mean, forget the beginning of the season saying that. It's like 3 weeks ago saying that. Like, we were talking about Rory being one of the worst teams in this league. And he put up 199 points. Noel got 173. DeMercado got Noel 0.2. Javonte Williams against the Panthers defense only got 7. And that's not good enough. So I think Noel is in a position now where he's got a couple injuries, and I think the next few weeks are going to be really interesting for him. 2-4 is certainly not where I would have expected him to be at this point in the season.
Yeah, and to your point about Rory, he was low score quite a few weeks, but he's all the way up at 11th points for and keeps kind of climbing that ladder.
Yeah.
So we'll see how the unfortunate penalty will affect that. I mean, and he already was out of fab, so I don't know how much more additions he would get anyway. It'd be interesting to see if he can also. I mean, he's 3-3, right? Like he's close to getting into the playoffs already. So,
well, and he's got Rico Dowdle, who, by the way, as a Panthers fan, I'm just telling you, he's not going back to the bench. I mean, there's just no way that he goes back to the bench. Chuba is going to be in a little bit of a timeshare from this point forward, and I don't think he's leading that timeshare.
So, James, do you trust the Panthers to make that decision?
It's a great point, Ricky. There are some things that I feel like are so obvious that it can't possibly be screwed up. However, David Tepper exists, so I guess we'll have to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I just think of
exists, so it depends on who his wife likes more, I guess.
Yeah.
I just think of the elite quarterback room the Panthers had of Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold, both of which stunk, and now they're bright stars on their respective teams.
Thanks, Chris.
You're welcome. Anytime. So going in, looking at transactions for the week. So obviously we already kind of talked about the collusion trade.
The transaction.
There was another trade, a weird trade, I would say, with Ice and Elliott, the two of the senior members, maybe the senile members here, just random tight end for tight end. I don't even know what to say. It's kind of just cool. Like I don't feel like any team added or subtracted value.
Well, here's the thing, Chris. At least the Stroud-Darnold trade they were somewhat comparable. We're looking at the 10th best tight end versus the 30th best tight end. Like, this is one where it's like the Sam Darnold Stroud one, I was like, that's a head scratcher. This one's even more of a head scratcher. And it's the two guys that were the most outspoken about the punishment, saying it should be more severe. So I'm definitely keeping an eye on the waiver wire this week and the trade wire this week, because this is another one where it's like, are we going to see another trade between these two that kind of evens it out a little bit more, as they're a little, because Elliott's team is all week 8 buys for the tight end. So this is another one where it's like he had to make a desperate trade. I mean, albeit it's a tight end position, so how desperate should he be about it? But
how valuable are any of these guys?
Well,
it's a head scratcher for me.
Yeah.
Here's the piece of this that even expounds that the head scratching even further. Both of them have the same bye week. They're both of them have a week 8 bye. It's not even like it gives an advantage because you're protecting a bye week. It's one of I don't get it from any standpoint.
No.
And it just doesn't make sense. There's nothing about it that makes sense.
I think he was just scared, like kind of just jumped the gun, took what was there, and then probably just realized later. I mean, it doesn't, like you said, it doesn't make any kind of sense, but who knows? Yeah, he'll probably try to trade out of it, do something else, see what happens. I'll be watching it for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we can only hope. I mean, I hope Iceman and Dolphin Death maybe are listening to this podcast and can give us some clarity tomorrow. But looking at it now, I don't get I don't get it. One thing that I did notice that's very exciting is we've got some really top players that hit the trade block in a move replicating Big Bad Brad. It looks like John Libby McLovin, who's not here tonight, his whole offense is on the trade block.
Yep.
So for anyone looking to make a move, DJ, a couple running backs there.
Fire sale.
Gibbs is there. Pollard's there. I mean, I would swoop in on those.
Oh yeah, I mean, one person I've never done a trade with is John. So if I can overcome some of that black magic, that'd be nice. Because every time I've tried to talk to him, I feel it creeping up on me, and I just kind of dip out. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Any waiver wire additions that surprised you guys? We didn't really have like a high dollar get here.
No, I mean, I think it's
$20 or more on someone.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, like you got Chuck right before he got locked out of doing anything ever again. Spent 17 on Cameron Johnson with Tampa Bay with their receiver problems. So hopefully he likes that one. So I it was a 50-50.
I like your Tez Johnson better than that one.
That's what I was saying. It's 50-50 on if you go him or Tez, and I thought Tez was the right choice, but I think I was the only one that really went for him. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah, no other bids, no other claims.
Do you think there's a chance that there's any Johnson confusion there? Two Johnsons?
I mean, it's definitely possible, especially with, older guys in our league, especially like Chuck that paid $17. But, we'll see. Who knows?
I think he actually paid $71. I think maybe that was it.
Yeah, but I mean, it's possible. I admittedly, I had to triple check, make sure I was getting the right Johnson. But
yeah.
Everybody, like Tampa Bay forums, all that, they're saying we thought he was the guy before anybody got hurt and that he would pass Godwin up. So hopefully he gets his moment now. Stays there. We'll see.
Yeah.
DJ, I got to ask you, because I am surprised. Tez Johnson, I think, is a great ad. But I'm surprised that you dropped Ryan Flournoy after he started out the season. In his first 4 weeks, he had 5 targets and was not on the field very much. The last 2 weeks, he's gotten 15 targets. He's made 9 catches for 144 yards, so 18 points and 5 points. It seemed like he was performing pretty well for you.
Yeah, it's just, with like CeeDee Lamb, his return, like being any week now, I just knew that obviously any kind of momentum he had would just get doused out. That and the other receivers on my bench, I just felt like had more upside, whether they don't score as much or any, at all. But I just know that they need 1 or 2 things to shake out their way, and then I got, some like a lot more help at the receiver position if I can't trade for it, especially. So we'll see. Made some investments, made some guesses. You just got to hope they hit, like every other thing.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Another one that was kind of sneaky was Christian Watson being added by Noel for $2. I think that has the potential. He's getting ready to come back. I think that has the potential to be a really good ad for Noel. And that's one of the things that I admire about the way that Noel manages his team is there's nothing, it feels like nothing really falls through the cracks with him around. He's watching things like a hawk, paying attention to players, even Christian Watson being available is something that I got to confess, I didn't even know that he was in waivers at all. So credit Noel for picking up that one for such a cheap bid as well.
Yeah, even adding Reynolds after Garrett Wilson being hurt, he should miss some time, maybe a game or 2, and then $7 on him. Only one to claim him also, or put a bid up. So who knows?
Yeah, he does stay on top of that. All right, looking ahead to our coming week's matchups, we can start with the game of the week. James, what is our game of the week?
Yeah, so we've got the matchups this week. There's not really any one that stands out as like, all right, like this is the 2 best teams in our league that are playing against each other. But I think the one that probably has the most intrigue, at least for me, is got to be the North Korean Fighting Kims taking on the defending champ Rogue Broncos. All right, so 2 of the highest scoring teams from last week. And obviously, Rory has seemingly turned his team around. We'll see, how he fares this week after the punishment, and can he maintain his guys' focus and try to remove some of the off-field distractions that'll bring against a really, really hot North Korean Fighting Kim's team. Right now, that's projected a 169 to 164. Kim's get Rashee Rice back. That's something to watch for sure, because if Rice hits, like we all assume that he will, Corbin's already on a 5-game win streak. I mean, he's got a lot of big potential, but he's also got an empty defense. He's got 3 defensive players that those positions are not full, but praise God he's got Dylan Gabriel on that bench.
Powerhouse scorer of Dylan Gabriel. Ricky, to you, what matchup are you eyeing up this week?
There's a couple of them. I'll go with Billy Buck and Bull City Bots. Billy Buck seems to be what Brad's team was last year, where it's just he's scoring a bunch of points but can't get in the win column anymore. He started off really hot, and now he's 2-4. So it'll be interesting to see if he can beat last year's Brad, which is Brad, and hopefully turn his team around. We'll see if the traditional meltdown on Sunday afternoon helps Brad's team recover from the 1% hole that he gets in, and then just kind of go from there. We talked about Billy Buck's team. Jose's team is the team to beat, and it's been beaten the last couple of weeks. So we'll see if they can bounce back from that and hopefully end up back in the win column this week.
Yeah, that's a good call there. So Billy Buck is number 2 points for, and Bull City Bots is number 1. So should see some fireworks. Like you said, Billy Buck's just gotten really unlucky. So we'll see. DJ, to you, what matchup are you eyeing up?
Yeah, so we talked about it a little bit already, but I was kind of looking at Bad News Baby Mamas and Dolphin Death, Noel and Elliot over there. As we talked about before, Noel's his team is full of questionables and hurt. So we'll see if he I think blows this matchup out the water, but since he's kind of toned down a bit, we'll see what he can do if Elliott can overcome it. He's got Stafford instead of Allen this week, so we'll see if he can get it done, the backup. And then, yeah, just see if Noel can pull it out the water, or if he has some bad luck like with Ricky, where he just comes so close, as close as you can without winning or tying. So, see what happens.
Yeah,
I think both of these teams are pretty even. And when I look at the QB matchups in particular, Stafford playing against Jacksonville, I mean, that could become a shootout, but he's also without Puka, as Chris is pretty familiar with. And Daniel Jones is playing against LA. I mean, LA has had a pretty good defense. Jones has played really well, but that could be a tricky defense to play against for him. I think this one I lean Dolphin Death on this one, just given the form that he's in compared to Noel. But I do think these are 2 pretty evenly matched teams.
Yeah, and it's been like almost every week. I've been almost, no offense to Ricky at all, but kind of just waiting for the pin to drop on Daniel Jones, but it doesn't seem to at all. So, it took him a while to make that decision, starting him over Rodgers, but I think he's kind of locked in now until he, proves him wrong in some major kind of way. So,
yeah, I'm looking ahead to Libby's versus Luke's. Libby's on a downside for sure, but honestly, team isn't performing that bad. Maybe definitely, there's a lot of potential. Put it that way. I mean, Justin Herbert has continually put up a lot of points. And looking through Luke and Libby's team, not super boom or bust, but I do think there's a pretty large disparity in how some of the special role players can either put up a decent amount of points or really not do anything, not use it at all. I think it'll be a great QB matchup. So Justin Herbert for Libby versus Drake May for Luke. Drake May is, just been blowing it out of the water, performing great. He's going to be on a revenge game against Tennessee, or Vrabel will be on his revenge game. So could see him blow up. And then Justin Herbert, I mean, you never know when he's going to blow up playing Indiana. So I think that one will be tight, and hoping Libby can get another win under his belt and gain some confidence there.
Did you see the comment that Vrabel made? He got asked earlier this week if he had any mementos from his time in Tennessee. Did y'all see that?
No.
He responded and said that the Goodwill on 8th Avenue probably has a pretty good stash of them.
Nice.
I love that.
Nice.
That's great.
He's going to win that one by 40.
Oh, that's gonna be a beatdown. I mean, that's got to be one of the worst decisions any football team has ever made. I mean, Vrabel is a football coach through and through. It's just, I mean, yeah. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah, Callahan was in over his head for sure. I mean, there's just no other way to put it.
Yeah.
But Chris, to talk about the Libby and Luke matchup, I look at John's team. He's got Michael Carter. All right, possible Cardinals RB1 now. T. Higgins. I mean, the Joe Flacco trade helps. I think that helps a good bit from Jake Browning, but still a huge question mark there. And Trey Tucker. I mean, he had 40 points, I think, back in week 3, but Geno Smith has proven to be an awful quarterback. I mean, just terrible. So I feel like Libby's got so many of his guys that he was really counting on. And I think he traded away Keon Coleman, but he had Keon Coleman at one point. But he's just got so many of his guys that haven't panned out. It's going to be tough for him to get some momentum. I'm with you. I don't think his team is as bad as the 1-5 record, but I do feel like Luke should win this one pretty solidly.
Yeah, we shall see. Any other matchups to highlight or call out?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and call out Ricky versus Chuck. All right, So another team that's facing a lot of off-field distraction right now, while also seemingly floundering a little bit with some injuries and some bye week stuff as well. So I feel like this is one that I could really see Ricky winning this one by 20, 30 points. I don't see this one being particularly close. I think the teams are very well matched on paper, but I just think with the matchups and where everything's at right now, I'm looking at Chuck's starting lineup and, Kenny Gainwell, Romeo Dobbs, Jalen Naylor, Hunter Henry, Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb. I just don't see any way that he keeps it close with Ricky.
Yeah.
Well, that's what you said about my DJ matchup, and look where that turned out.
Yeah. Anytime someone brings me up,
Commissioner's curse, baby.
Go south.
Go.
I'll go with Chris and Iceman. Good old Shawner. This one's intriguing to me. Both 2-4 record. I think I'm trying to look here. Iceman is 13th in points for, and Chris, you are 10th. So pretty similar in that regard as well. I think this could potentially be one of the closer matchups this week. Again, going to kind of come down to QB play. Caleb Williams against New Orleans, Jordan Love against Arizona. Two defenses that, can give up quite a few points. So, we'll see. I think, very evenly matched. The one thing I think, Chris, that hurts you obviously is starting Brian Robinson at running back. That's going to be tough, I think, this week. But overall, I think could be a really good matchup and one to keep an eye on.
Yeah, I have zero confidence. I'm starting Brian Robinson at running back. I'm starting 2 tight ends. Or no, just one. Sorry. Dalton Kincaid is on bye. And then both Puka Nacua and Marvin Harrison, they're currently questionable. I think there's a high probability. In my mind, there's no chance both of them play, and there's a high probability neither of them play. So there's a very, very high probability that I put up less than 100 points and just take a big old belt to booty this week. But hey, I have Jalen Lane, good hokey in my flex. So yeah, I'm looking strong. So I appreciate your confidence. I have zero. I'll put all my guys on the trade block. See if I can pull a Brad.
There you go.
If Nakua plays, I think you have a good shot.
Yeah.
Does it make you feel better that J.J. McCarthy is nearing a return?
Oh, I am pumped. Now I have to decide, do I want to keep JJ or Mac Attack? Hey, Jordan Love, bye week over, made me feel confident, but no, I definitely have had some injuries this week and then suspension Brian Branch or whatever his fool's name is going to be out for me. Which I will say, I will defend my guys. Juju started that, had a hideous hit the play before, and Brian Branch just went to end it. So I think that should be a one-game suspension for both guys. But during the appeal process, they did not pick up my phone call or read my emails. So
Nope.
out of safety there.
I mean, it's what happens when you don't dab up the golden boy. He was
That's
asking
right.
for it.
Yeah. I think they were trying to do a TikTok dance before, and Brian didn't play, so who knows? So yeah. Well, who knows? I mean, my hope is Iceman equally craps the bed, and I can maybe get a lucky win. That's my only hope.
I think I lean towards agreeing with Chris. I think if I were to bet money on this game, I'm going Iceman.
Yeah, that's where the smart money is for sure.
Yeah.
Another matchup to call out again, James. You and Wes. Wes has had a rough go of it, and you're kind of hitting your stride. I really think you're going to get that third win. Just Wes is having a tough time. I think before the season we thought he was a strong team, but it's just tough to see him putting up any decent points anymore. Again, just going through his team, it's like, man, it's rough.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, I was gonna say, James, how do you feel about having 6 questionables that you need to go your way?
I feel good because at least I don't have 6 outs that I need to drop.
That's fair.
So that's some improvement from earlier in the season when even my kickers were getting hurt.
Yeah, very true.
No, but I mean, I don't know what it says about Bo Nix that Justin Fields is projected to outscore him. That's a little bit concerning to see from Bo, who objectively has not panned out the way that I thought he would. I thought he would be, by the end of the season, top 8 QB. He hasn't looked anywhere near that right now, and I do have to blame. I know I've read a lot of people calling him out for his performance against the Jets, but if you watch the game, you saw some of the play calling. They really didn't even give him a chance there in the second half. He did a great job in the first half, and then they went 3 and out a couple of times, had a couple of stupid turnovers, none of which were on him, and he just didn't really get the opportunity to throw the football. And so I think he's getting an unnecessary amount of hate. I don't know if you would agree, DJ, as a Bronco fan.
Oh no, I think he's the best option we've had in such a long time. I don't have any disgruntled feelings with him. I think it was just a very weird, like you said, play calling the second half. We've been in this weird play to the ability of who we're playing kind of rut. Looks great against the Eagles and then just almost got beat by the Jets. That's doesn't make any sense. But yeah, no, we have the guys for him to be able to succeed with Franklin, Sutton, Mims, all those guys. And then it's just whenever you just do some weird stuff, you just think too hard about it instead of just play backyard ball. That's all you got to do. But it's like you said, it's funny. Fields is projected more than him given last week whenever he got negative points, but who knows? Any given Sunday. So
yeah, I was thrilled personally that I threw for more net yards this past Sunday on my couch than Justin Fields did against the Denver Broncos.
Yeah.
He had a 41, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's just fair that we send our craft games to England. If they wanted better football, they should have not lost the Revolutionary War.
Big time.
Agreed. It's that simple.
That's facts. Awesome. Any of the last games we want to touch on? I think we hit most of them, or anything else to hit on before we get into power rankings?
Yeah, DJ and Kurth.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, I wasn't going to talk about myself there, so. But it's like I said, I'm kind of a little worried. I don't think I've managed to beat John yet, but we'll see how it shakes out. Just like any other week, I need Pat and Bijan to bail me out. So, but hopefully we got the guys. Terry's supposed to come back. Hopefully he comes back and shows why he's number one. Reminds everybody why they re-signed him, stuff like that. So
he will.
Here's hoping.
Big game against Dallas. Disappointing loss. Well, he hasn't played, but the team's disappointed in their loss. He's going to put up the performance you need. I believe in Terry.
I mean, while he's been gone though, your guy, Luke McCaffrey, he has helped me out a lot more. Whether it's one pass, it's always a deep ball. So It's just I've seen a lot of people asking when he's going to get a shot because he should be up there consistently, probably pushing Debo or Terry for their jobs. He needs some more looks. Honestly, it was a weird game against Chicago, and he only got the one look, but still.
Yeah. The wide open touchdown, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I don't know why Kurth's team is projected for 200. I think that is definitely the ceiling there.
I think that's beyond the ceiling.
Yeah.
To quote, I think Michael Jordan said that about 10 years ago for you at a UNC basketball game. Like the ceiling is the floor. Or
The
something
ceiling
like
is
that,
the floor.
or,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, I think that 200 is insane. I don't think he gets close to 200, but I do think he wins the matchup. I think it's close though. I mean, the Mahomes and Bijan, we just talked about how important those are for DJ. Mahomes is going up against Las Vegas, and Bijan's got San Fran, who has not been a great rush defense this season. Those are
Without Fred
phenomenal matchups. Without Fred Warner now. Yeah. They weren't great with Fred Warner. Now they don't have him. I mean, I think Mahomes and Bijan are going to give DJ quite the cushion to start this thing off.
Yeah. And you know what? Just thanks for picking John. It's a badge I needed every single time. So we'll see.
Yeah, Commissioner is officially picking John.
Boom.
Add one to the win column, then I'll see it.
Yeah. Excellent. All right, power rankings. DJ, give us your top 3 and bottom 3.
All right.
You can pick where you want to start, but maybe give us the third on the list and work your way up or down.
Sure. Yeah. So I'll start with the top 3, starting number 3. I'd say probably I would have to say like every week I'm seeing how good he does, and he's usually scary. I was scared when I played him. Glad it went my way though. But Ricky, you're probably at my number 3 spot. You just show in, week out. You're supposed to take it to Chuck this week, so you're just always up there. Usually in other people's top 3, so hopefully we'll keep it going, see how it works out for you.
Sure.
Glad I could give you that one though, must say. And then gonna give it to you every time, buddy. And then number 2, I'd have to put it at Rory. Just every time he's shown out. Like he started off rocky, but then especially with Dowdle, and like you said, like Chuba's not getting the job he had back. He's gonna get to play, but it's only thing that's really keeping him getting his production is that they just signed him for a bunch of money. Otherwise it would just be the Dowdle show. But yeah, now he's got that, and then the only thing really holding him back is whenever Charbonnet doesn't work out. Otherwise, he would be even that much more scary. And then with Golden working out, and then Love starting to love throwing his way, it's just not looking great for anybody that has to play Rory. And then number 1, he kind of helped me out and defended me against all you schmucks. But Brad would have to be my number 1. He's very just scary. Everybody's kind of working out. Nobody's too crazy hurt. He's got some of his guys back, besides Coker. But everybody else is kind of, like I said, just full steam ahead. Warren's looking good. Dobbins, even though he talks crap about him and puts everybody on the block, Dobbins holds it down. RJ Harvey's not sniffing the starting job yet. Pickens is doing great, but I mean, we'll see how that happens once Lamb comes back. So see if he can keep cranking out those numbers for him. But he's the team to beat. He's scary. He's probably going to take it to the division, if not me. So we'll see. But that would have to be my top 3. And then
I think that's the first time Rory's been in the top 3. He's definitely been in the
Without
bottom 3 conversation many times. I don't disagree with your take. I mean
things change. Dowdle just working out like that. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, DJ, before you go to the bottom 3. Is Corbin at 4?
Yeah, it's very close too. He's, it's always scary. Like I have been looking at who I could even see as a thorn in the side, and everyone's kind of just hitting really. Besides, maybe Debo every now and again with the weird Commanders games, but even Hurts when the Eagles have a bad game, he figures it out for him. And then Scatterbo, like I said, is just his golden goose, just constantly giving him points, and then London seeming to work out. He was weird to have like a year or 2 ago. Just very inconsistent, but so far he's had 2 great weeks back to back. And then, besides his empty DL spot right now, we'll see what happens. But yeah, no, he's always in the conversation as well, right there. Then I'd have to say, moving on to the bottom three. Probably a lot of people expect me to put myself, but I'm not going to ever do that.
Wouldn't expect anything less if it makes you
Yeah,
feel better.
no, that would just be a terrible decision. I would have to say it's kind of tough. Everybody's kind of looking all right besides one or two here. Um, without being me, I have to say, John's definitely on there. Some things aren't going his way. Like you say, he plays better than his records show, but it is still his record. We'll see. And then also like Pollard, he's just losing his reps the more the weeks go on since Spears is back and healthy. So his guys are just kind of getting the life sucked out of him every week. And like you said with Bo Nix, if he continues, even if he does good and he spreads it around, unless Sutton's his main guy and his only guy, it really hurts him whenever Denver has a weird game like they did. So we'll see if he keeps trending down that way, and see if Brad gives him more hot dogs on the meter there. So who knows? Next, I'd probably actually over. I'd put John at 2 because over 3, I'd say like I don't know what's going on really, but I'd have to say like Billy Buck is going to start to scare me. Jose's doing a little weird. I know it's weird. It's only because of what's trending and what's going on. He just keeps finding ways to lose somehow. You know, back to back losses. It's just his guys need to work out. Cup's not getting looked at. The Eagles are just I don't even know what they're doing. And then he just needs guys that he hoped would go his way, and they just aren't. Like Judy, the Browns are just the Browns. So hopefully he can keep going out of his way. I'm glad that he's having the success he's had so far. It's great seeing him not be guaranteed and almost a lock for the toilet bowl again, but hopefully he stays out of it. Don't want to see him get put in there again. And then last, I was trying to say like West doesn't look that great. I have to put him at the bottom. It's just some things aren't going his way. Whenever you're relying on Justin Fields, it's always a painful place.
Yep.
So yeah, just that's not looking great. And then just this Myles Garrett for some reason is just forgetting how to play football and get to the quarterback, especially after having that much money and then talking about how no one's out there helping him. Well, he's not really doing much to help anybody else either. But it's Singletary is irrelevant, but Spears is back, so we'll see if that can happen. But he does play James on a hot streak, so we'll see.
Real hot streak.
Yeah.
Back-to-back wins, baby. Unimaginable 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
For real.
Get out of Bill's way over there.
All right, so you've got on your bottom 3, you've got in order. All right, so 14 you said is Jose, 15 John, and 16 Wes.
Yeah.
I gotta say, DJ, I think those are the most unique rankings.
I try to be unique in everything I do.
Between having who'd you have, Rory in your top 3, and then Jose in the bottom 3. That's definitely.
It might just be a flavor of the week. It doesn't make sense all the time, but
well, no, but I think it does make sense. I think Chris is right. It is definitely the most unique power rankings we've seen. But I think your reasons also make a lot of sense for why you have people where they're at.
Yeah. And to that point, DJ, we always talk about it's not necessarily the players on the team, but the manager that's managing those players. And with Jose, he had a really good team the first 3 or 4 weeks, but then he went out and spent $50 on Joe Flacco, and it's like, okay, what are we doing here? Like, let's around a little bit, and then he adds some other guys, and it's like, okay, now we're starting Xavier Scott at running back.
Mm-hmm.
Cooper Kupp's your wide receiver 1 right now. It's initially when you said that, it's kind of like, whoa. I wouldn't even have thought Billy Buck at bottom 3, but you start to look at it and it's like, okay, I could definitely see it, especially if he ends up losing to Brad this week. Are things going to start to trend down for poor Jose? But you never want to wish that for him, but it's kind of just it's staring you right in the face. Hopefully he can turn it back around.
Yeah, and especially whenever with all this collusion fiasco, he just wasn't aware of a lick of it. So where is his head at? Who knows?
Well, based on the $50 spent on Joe Flacco, his head's in 2011.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but you know what? To Ricky's point, I mean, I think seriously, I think that $50 on Joe Flacco is an indicator, and it's one of those decisions that's not going to win you the season. You know, make it spending half of your whole season budget on a 40-year-old quarterback that is either playing for the Bengals or the Browns is not going to win you the season. When you already have a solid team, that's not an area that you need to improve.
Yeah. And I mean,
Yeah.
a little bit to his defense, because he did mention it in chat. He was wrong on who he was playing, but both his quarterbacks had a bye week. There's really no quarterback. So, if Joe Flacco is going to play that, spending $50 on maybe one win, is it worth it? Not sure. I think
it's a good question.
I think it's incredibly high, and I think there isn't. You don't need to spend $50. I mean, like,
No.
Mac Jones, like, there's a lot of these guys floating around. Someone's gonna be hurt. There's gonna be backups around.
Not when Rory's giving out rentals and stuff. I mean,
it's true. Yeah, for free. I mean, that'd be not to talk about this again, but if there was even like, hey, $10 fab thrown in for the rental, like, something would be a little bit better. I still think we would strike that as well, but yeah, just a straight trade
to the week. A week to the day.
And I mean, to again read the Constitution, what's written, it says, it's not even oh, maybe we'll decide it's collusion. Like, this is straight. Hang on, I'm pulling it up so I can read exactly what it says.
Verbatim.
1.2.2, any player traded from a team may not be reacquired via trade within 3 weeks of the original trade. Like, that's just what it says. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, I think Chris said it best. It's Bush League. It's never been okay in this league. It's never been okay in any league that has any merit whatsoever. And it's just stunning that something like that would happen in this league from two people who have been here for a while.
Yeah, and then like Rory was saying, he was just out there having a good time. He got a little trade happy. I think it was like his third trade in quick succession, and then flew way too close to the sun. Just, I don't know, trying to. I guess he got bored.
And
he got tired of sitting through the wedding planning.
He truly got nothing out of it. And honestly, like, if they just made the original trade and didn't try to trade back, it's like, yeah, okay, like, it helps your bye weeks. Like, that's perfectly fine.
But also, why help Chuck out? If someone messed up their buys, that's kind of their problem.
Yeah.
much less a division rival.
Yeah, honestly. I've had harder times convincing.
Do you think does Chuck have dirt on Rory of some sort? Or do you think Mrs. Pace played any effect into this trade?
I think in all seriousness, I think Mrs. Pace had a direct role in this trade, and she didn't know that she did.
Yeah.
All right. But if Mrs. Pace does not exist, or if Rory is not in her class, I don't think this trade ever happens, because Rory feels strong ties to the Pace family. And he even said so as much to me at one point in one of our texts that we exchanged yesterday when trying to get to the bottom of this. I think he said, and I quote, "The Pace ties are too strong."
What's funny is go ahead and ask Chuck if he feels the same way.
Chuck said, and I quote, "The Hayes ties are too strong." But no, you're right. I mean, Rory didn't have anything to gain from this whatsoever. And I think to defend him a little bit, I mean, I think he really saw it as, hey, I'm just helping out a friend who needs a QB for a week. And it sucks, and it's unfortunate that it played out the way that it did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Live and learn. So we'll see. Like, we had, like Noel was saying, it's way too much and all that. Do you think it actually is kind of damning to either of them for the rest of the year? Or, like, they could kind of just float it out, see what happens? I mean, I think, like you said, with some points that have gone Rory's way, I think he'll be all right. I think Chuck seems okay as long as Lamar comes back healthy. I don't think it's, but like you said, you can't say it's too much or anything if it's there, accessible at all times. So,
right.
I mean,
well, we either have to enforce it, right? Except besides the Timbo situation. So it's kind of one of those things where it's happened. Now it's got to be enforced. And does the council learn from this? Do we make adjustments in the off season? are there different levels of collusion? Are there parties that are taken advantage of that don't even know that what they're doing, like to James' point, just helping out a friend. It's hard to know what the intentions are, and I think that's the important part, is maybe they didn't intend to do it, but the fact that it is clearly stated in the Constitution, we kind of have to abide by that. Our hands are just like the 10-point deduction for the updates. Our hands are kind of tied in the situation because it's so clearly stated in the Constitution. Now, can there be amendments like we said? Absolutely, but um, the Constitution's locked in, and that's kind of where the council landed on that.
Yeah.
Well, and I think, yeah, go ahead, Chris.
I think, this is a random, week six matchup, probably won't affect the end of the year. I mean, definitely could if there's a win or loss. But if we think about, hey, if this is, what our trade deadline is Thanksgiving, so kind of middle November, end of November, like when things are really getting down to the wire, if we were to have a middle of the pack team who's like, I'm in the playoffs, but I'm not going to win, don't really care, do something like this to affect either a team that could win, or more importantly, I think, like a team that may be sent to the toilet bowl, like people are really going to be butthurt about that. Like if that was me and something like this happened where, there's really it's not two people trying to find a good deal. It's truly just trying to screw someone. Like that's rough. And like I think there's obviously people in the league that are closer than others, that know each other. Others, if we just let it be a free for all, like we definitely could team together to screw someone. And that's what we're trying to avoid. So again, in this situation, it's like the repercussions or the downstream effect is not as large. But if you play it out to where this could be the worst, like it's pretty bad and could cause some actual risks in this league.
Yeah.
I think, again, I think this one's like super clear. If it's just like, yeah, we can't do that.
Yeah. And that's where I think we had the conversation this morning about, is the punishment too excessive? Well, I think that is answered by, do we think collusion is acceptable in any fashion, or do we not? And in my opinion, no. Like collusion and at any level is still collusion. And so, Is that something we want in this league? No. All right. Like I think personally, I think we have two levels. All right. If it's your first offense, you get a strong punishment. If it's your second offense, you're out of the league. And so from that standpoint, we already have levels in there that are baked into it. And so I think it's an extreme punishment for an extreme offense. I don't think it's too excessive. Does it damage the teams that were involved? Absolutely. But it should, because they were willing to damage other people. And they weren't worried about that. And so, if our league lacks integrity, and if we don't have any rules and we don't abide by any rules, which, by the way, we've had for several years, everyone's seen, liked, and have been excited about, we wrote them up and everyone agreed to them because none of us wanted to see that at the time when we adopted the league constitution. But if we throw all that to the wayside and it's just the Wild West, what's even the point?
Yeah. And in college football right now, I think the ACC fines people that tear down the goalpost $50,000, which means it costs $50,000 to tear down the goalpost, right? Like it's not punitive at all. And if we have a light punishment, then hey, it costs 10 points to collude. Then you just play that into your factor of like, okay, well, maybe especially towards the end of the season, okay, well, a trading ban, sure, that's fine. Trading season's over. Like I can't do it anyway. So I think that's why we have to come down hard. Is like there's serious repercussions that could happen, and yeah, hopefully no one ever tries it again. Especially this obvious. That's what's kind of weird. Is like clearly you guys were not trying to hide it. So
No,
I don't know.
Not hiding it with other players. Nothing.
Yeah.
But like you were
wild.
saying, even if Rory meant well, like if you just let that slip, then where's it stop until you're just letting in way bigger fish than you mean to. So.
Correct. Yeah. I think it sets a dangerous precedent if you don't come down hard on this. Like there's not many more offenses. There's not a lot of offenses you could do in a fantasy football league. Let's be real. But there's not a lot more that you could do that would be more severe than a case of collusion. And so there's very, very few regulations already. that's just one we just have no business allowing for the integrity of the league. There's a lot of things that make this league super great, but I think we have to have a base level of integrity for it to continue being great. And we have to protect that because we've got a good thing here. I mean, this podcast is a testament. Like, we've got 4 people at least once a week that are willing to come together and give an hour of their time late at night to discuss this league. And I think that's very special. And we have people that actually listen from our league, of course, but like people in the league actually listen, which is incredible.
Yeah. Well, any final remarks? Anything to wrap this up? Glad we had some more talk on the trade inclusion. Hopefully hearing the league that heard us speak and kind of the thoughts behind it, hopefully they get to can at least see where we're coming from. I think one thing that does speak a little bit of volume to where we ended up is some people do think it's too harsh. Some people think it's not harsh enough, which means we're somewhere in the middle. As weird as it seems, because it does kind of seem like a death penalty on those two teams. But I think we're kind of in the middle. And again, I think we're enforcing a zero tolerance policy on this. So yeah, glad we could get that. Hopefully everyone believes in us. And hey, the whole Illuminati maybe turn over next year, and y'all can do whatever you want next year. So while we're in control, you gotta live by it. Yeah.
I think the last thought that I want to share in closing to everybody that's listening to this podcast from the league is I hope you understand, especially those of you that maybe thought it was too excessive or didn't agree with with the punishment that we laid down in accordance with the Constitution, is we spent all afternoon yesterday deliberating about what to do, because we wanted to be sure that we came to the fairest and most just resolution as possible. And it was something that we really, collectively all wanted to make sure we were on the same page on before proceeding forward, because this is such a sensitive topic. And again, like Chris said, labeling it even a death penalty to the two teams. I mean, it's a tough penalty to overcome. But we spent several hours discussing, some of the repercussions and what to do. And it was not a decision that was met lightly. It was not, the conversations did not go, well, it's in the Constitution, so I guess that's what we're doing. I mean, there was a lot of discussion around what to do and how to best handle it. And we came to the conclusion that we felt was best. And I think, like Chris said, if there's that strong of a contingent that felt like it was just way over the line, then I guess at the next league council elections, we'll get that message.
Well said.
Yeah. All right. Any final remarks?
I'd probably say, Chris, I was wondering if you were pretty full from eating your words from the past 2 times. Think I'd get Hunter clubbed, and then I get blown out the.
I'm stuffed, but not as stuffed as you'll be when you have to eat 72 hot dogs.
We'll see. I mean, I don't have any hot dogs on my meter, buddy, and I don't think I see anything coming anytime soon either.
Hey,
so we'll see.
It'll sneak up fast on you.
Wow.
Yeah, all right. Well, ask Ricky how fast I sneak up on other people, so we'll see.
Ricky, any final remarks?
No, lots happened this week. It's been an exciting week. We're only 6 weeks into the season, into the 7th week. It's flown by, but man, it's been a fun one, and I hope people continue to stick around. I'd love to see everyone back next year. It'd be fun to have a year where we actually carry over everybody to the next year, because it's been a while since we've done that. Love everybody in here. Like I said, would love to see you guys back next year. Hopefully we can keep everyone.
Yep. Yeah. Do you guys have any weight to? Do you have any weight to Chuck's? Well, I didn't want my last year to go this way.
We'll see.
Who knows, man?
We love you, Chuck.
We love you, Chuck. I don't. I'll happily give you your hockey league back. Just stay in this one too, buddy.
What if Chuck just shocks us all and wins it, just on complete autopilot?
You know what? He'll have so much crap to say, and I'll happily sit there and listen to it if he's hanging around.
Yeah. Yeah. That would be something.
It'd be an all-timer. If either Chuck or Rory wins, that would be an all-time moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Chuck to get that 3rd win would be something.
You'd never hear the end of it.
Nope. All right, guys. Well, thanks for listening. If anyone made it this far, definitely an entertaining one. Thanks to DJ for being our guest. Thanks to Ricky for co-hosting again. I think Ricky's been on here as many times as the quote unquote actual host. So thank you. All time appearances here by Ricky. Guys, looking forward to electric week 7. Hopefully we don't have any more drama outside of just the matchups, but if we do, we'll be here to report on it. Have a good one, and see you all next week.
See you, everybody.
See ya. Thanks for having me.